7 clients in 2 weeks. Steve, you there?
I'm here. Now I'm unmuted.
There he is. All right, Steve, you want to share with us the numbers, the final numbers from your email campaign that you did last week or the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, we started out, I think, with 255 emails.
How much have you made? Sorry.
18,000.
Cash collected or revenue?
That's collected for assessments. So that was
Okay.
6 at 2,500 and 1 at 3,000.
Congratulations. So 7 new clients.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep, correct.
Yeah, I know you had one that had like 3, but they're all different people. So
yes, correct.
So 0 to 7 clients in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think 6 of them were all last week.
You just stacked up like 15,000 in a week, huh? How does that feel?
Good. Yeah, it was great. It's because it's a different service, right? And it's brand new, and it gives you some, I don't know, momentum, kick in the butt or whatever, just because you could see how easy it is because so many people really need and want this. So it was really just, okay, send out the email, get the responses, measure the responses, and reach out to those people that answer the email.
What were you thinking at that time? Like, because you were already overwhelmed and I told you to do this, but what were you thinking at the time? Like, what were you feeling internally when you're like, I'm going to send this email?
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew that, reaching out to my client base was the best first step. I mean, sometimes,
But what stopped you from doing that?
sometimes, it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Sometimes you know what you should be doing, and for whatever reason, you don't.
Mhm.
And I just needed some, to simplify the whole process. And it was, I mean, it was simple. It was perfect because I sent out those emails. I got, I think the first time 60.
I'll share the email. I have all the stats you shared with me, so I can share that.
Yes. Okay. So I don't have to go through that, but I got a lot of responses, and I reached out to everybody, and a lot of my initial responses were because, obviously they're my clients, so I know who they are. And a lot of them were non-qualified clients, but I took the opportunity to talk to them anyway, because I needed the practice also of going through the pitch and how I was going to approach my clients and what I was going to say, and, dealing with objections if there were any. And then, of course, almost everybody knows somebody else that they might be able to refer to you. So I think it was, worth the time, even though I knew they weren't qualified clients anyway. And then a week later, I think Dan said, send it again. And so I sent the exact same email, only I changed the subject of the email. And I think I got another, I can't remember how many, but I got a lot of responses on that one as well. Some of my more qualified clients that time. And I reached out again, of course, to everybody that had emailed, and scheduled a bunch of appointments. And that's how it led to some of the successes last week. And then we did one more email that we changed the message a little bit. And I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember what was the subject title of that one, but it was, even in the subject of the email, the point was to create the urgency and let everybody know that their spaces are filling up. I think it was almost full. That was the subject. And that got, instant responses as well. I think I got 18 responses on that one, and we sent 247 emails that time. I would say, and maybe this is something we can add on to this, and this was a good suggestion from Rosie, and I had just seen some of those questions, and I think it was Tammy's about, did you have people reach out to you that you didn't expect? And I would say the answer to that was yes, but some of those were the non-qualified people. I had somebody reach out to me that had 0 tax liability. I'm like, well, I'm not sure how much tax I can knock off for you when you have 0 tax liability the last 2 years in a row. But what I was going to suggest, that Rosie suggested, was in the email, have some kind of qualifier or non-qualifying language so that the clients that aren't qualified can disqualify themselves. Then I don't even get those emails from the people that are non-qualified. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a good thought to think on the other side of volume, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah,
On the
yeah.
other side of just so everybody's in the same context here, guys, you need the flow. So the way that it goes is like this in order of sequence. Because remember, like the way my mind is working in sequence, and that's how I teach you guys how to kind of do things in sequences. So in process, right? So the way that it goes is create flow, like Steve did, monetize the flow, which is what he did, made the money. Now you can go back and create some friction points and do it again. Not before, because then you cut off your opportunities too soon.
Yeah.
So you guys go get opportunities, turn that opportunities into money. Then you go back and you start creating a little bit of friction between you and the opportunity. Does that make sense for everybody? So if you remember something, remember this: create flow, monetize flow, then add friction. Don't add friction before, add friction after you've made some money.
So it might have been a good timing in that third email.
Yeah, exactly. And now what I would even tell you, Steve, is if you send another email and just say, thank you everyone for, believing in this company and believing what I'm doing. I'm so happy and grateful for you all. If you guys are still interested, let me know, because next month I'll probably open it up for another 3 people. And guess what? You created a wait list. And that was become your hit list for the next month. So now you have new clients for the next month. See how that works, guys? You closed one loop, you open the other. And that creates urgency, that creates scarcity, and that creates what's called purchasing power. Meaning now he's in more demand, which means he can charge more and be worth it. And he doesn't have to do anything different. That's why Louis Vuitton can charge what they charge without doing anything different than Coach or a person from Walmart. They just create so much demand and there's a limited supply. There's only one Steve. So he can charge whatever he wants for Steve. And that's how you create demand, so that way you can charge what you're worth easily. See what I mean, Steve? That's how you open that back up for next month.
Yeah, no, that's a greght idea.
I'm going to show you guys all the email right now. But if I going back now, what I would do with Steve, and if you're going to take this from the first starting point, here's what I would do for you guys. And I would suggest this to you. Pam, you send out this email, you get responses, you call every one of them and you say, thank you for this thing. Now let's talk, whatever. The ones that say yes, whatever. The people that open the email but don't respond, you call them and you ask them if they saw the email. Most times those people are going to say, no, I didn't see the email. Well, do you have 10 minutes so I can explain the email? And there you go. You literally read the email verbatim, and then you ask them, what do you think? They'll say yes or no. And then you take them into the sales conversation. In fact, Steve, of the 166 people, you can call them on and say, hey, I sent you an email the other day. Did you get the chance to take a look at it? And they will say yes or no. And based on that, now you have new leads. See what I mean? But now you already have something that you put out there in the world. So now you have power again. You have the position again. You're not cold calling them. You're literally just asking them if they read the email. And if they say no, you read the email to them on the phone. And the email is already perfect as it is, meaning it's already making the offer for you. So it's almost like your sales script. And in that way, the prospect's not even going to know what to do. They're just going to say yes or no, which is great, because now you take that out of your head. Because you're like, I don't know about all these 160. Why would they open this if they weren't interested? So let me find out where their interest is. Does that make sense for everybody? So this is why I said, like, how you can fill up the funnel, but also like really dial it in deep. Like these are ideas that you guys can all use right now when we send this email, and tap it out all the way across, like wrap it around. Meaning, like, whatever you can, take everything you can out of it. Email, phone, and text. Text them, hey, did you get my email? Call them, hey, did you get my email? What do you think of my email? Right? And so those are all things that you do once you make that direct offer to them.
The whole emails, Dan.
You want me to show the whole email?
Okay, anything that's, like the creative part that shows the, the clips on the top, I had nothing to do with that. That's all my assistant.
Yeah. So don't worry about the little creative thing. Don't get caught up on that, guys. The messaging is the most important thing, because there's going to be like little images and stuff that his EA helped just kind of like make it a more Steve email. But the messaging is what you guys really want to do, because ultimately the messaging is what got them. Because if you just sent the pictures with no message, what do you think they're going to say? What's this? Right? So that's why it's important to know what's important. So let's see here. Actually, you know what? Zach did very similar thing. And I think Zach to date has already done like 110,000 cash collected. Zach, is that right? I don't know where he's at. Very similar to what, Steve did. But yeah, so Steve actually has these emails here that I'm going to share with you. And this is a perfect case study. So let's go into it. And then you guys have questions. We'll give you guys these emails. If you haven't already scheduled your one-on-ones with either Jamari, Vaughn, or Rosie, this is going to be your first thing that you're going to do. Send this email. And if you want to send it right here, you can. You can send it right here on this call if you'd like to, and get results, or don't. But either way, you get data, and I can help you with the data. I can't help you with not doing anything. So right now, what you would do, this is his first email. So this was the list. He had 250 clients or 250 emails. He sent this email, new service, tax saving strategies. And yes, everyone will get this. Everyone will get these emails. Okay. So don't worry. You can send them actually right now if you want. I'm going to copy this. I'm just going to copy the text and put it in the chat. All right, so let's go through it. He had 250 people to send it to. He had 155 people open. What this tells me, guys, just so you know, that means that his list is good. 65% of people opening any email, we're happy if we get 18%. So 65%, that means that Steve's been doing his job for a very long time. That's what that tells me. He's been doing a good job for a very long time. He had 12 responses. Pretty good. I mean, those are really phenomenal numbers. Just so you guys can get some context here, I was sending 10,000 emails per day, and my open rates were like 20%, and my response rate were like 1%. So these are really good numbers. At scale, your numbers are not gonna look like this. With your current warm list, they should look very similar to this. Okay, so this is the email right here. Let me show it to you. And it's a very simple. You probably noticed it's Tammy, what it looks like. So literally verbatim what Tammy used her first go around. It's gonna say new service, tax strategies. You don't have to put this. I don't think this made a difference, but it could have made a difference. I would just use this verbatim if you can. Like Steve used it verbatim, made a little spin to it. And, you know, he got what, 12 responses from that, 12 positive responses. So kind of the context, and I don't know if Tammy knew what she was doing as far as like the positioning of it. Maybe, I don't know, but I'll break it down. Okay. So Tammy did it without subconsciously. She's a marketer in her head. She knows she is. She knows she's good at marketing. She just doesn't, yeah, she doesn't articulate it that she is, but she is, right? So I'll break down kind of what, when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is perfect. And this is a lot of pre-framing stuff. So since the end of tax season, you can put, since the beginning of tax season around the corner, whatever you want to say, I've taken advantage of tax planning training, which you're telling them about a new thing that they've never seen. To be proactive, that's a very big buzzword that your clients want to know. Proactivity, right? That's what they want, but they don't have. Towards taxes and looking at your tax situation. Pam, if you're not in your CRM sending this thing right now as we speak, you should be. All right. You've always paid for X. So this could look like you've always paid for bookkeeping. You've always paid for tax prep. You've always paid for tax resolution. You've always paid for assets under management. You've always paid for CFO level services. You've always paid for credit repair. Whatever the thing is that they've done in the past, you just acknowledge that it was there. And I was like, this is a perfect email. When I saw Tammy send it to me, I was like, this is great. But now I offer something new, right? Even if, like Steve just mentioned, even if I've been doing it for 36 years, it's still new in their mind because they've never seen it before. Most of you have never even seen this before. So how do you expect them to know what you've never known? Well, they won't. And so you call it, it's a new thing, and people love novelty. Okay. People love, actually, I want to challenge everyone here. Who here is going to send this email today? Type me in the chat. Type me in the chat. I want to know who's going to send it today. Type me in the chat. Okay. Bet. All right, good. If you don't, I'm gonna fight everyone on here. Just kidding. All right. Resend it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And Steve, and I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Steve said, I think Steve was probably freaking out when I told him, send it again. He was like, but it's the same thing. I'm like, send it again. And it works. And the reason why this works, guys, the first time you send it and you've never done email marketing, your clients don't know what to expect. They're like, so is this like really Steve? And I bet you people probably call them and be like, hey, Steve, like, I think did someone, when we first started doing stuff like this, people would even call David, hey, David, is this really you? Because we never done emails before. And he was like, yeah, that's me. And then people started responding because they're like, oh, well, this is actually David. Let me respond now. Your clients will probably not respond right away because they're going to think, is this really Pam? Is this really Tammy saying this to me? Uzo, did Uzo really say this to me? Right? Those are the things that they're going to kind of like do the little dog, like, really? And that's what you be okay with it. So just be okay with it. All right. Now I offer this and I identified customized tax strategies, right? Customized is another buzzword for tax mitigation. They probably don't know what tax mitigation, but I would probably say for tax savings. It's more advanced, right? The right people like more advanced. The right people like more better stuff. They like better stuff. The more advanced people in your audience. And forward-looking compared to tax preparation, which is limited to working in the past. Oh, everybody wants to look forward. Nobody wants to look backward, right? I'm finding, and this is right here, creates this urgency without knowing. I didn't know Tammy knew what she knew what she was doing. I'm playing with Tammy. Tammy knew what she was writing when she was writing it. I'm finding that a lot of clients have been asking for this. So it lends itself to urgency. I mean, sorry, to demand. Do you see how that word right there creates demand in the prospect's mind? Oh, a lot of people have been asking. So people want this, not just me. Right? Because through this email, that's what they're thinking. Am I the only one that thinks like this? No, a lot of people think like me. Okay. And then it's my mission to offer this new service. Very simply like this. You end the call with this. Now I know Tammy had hers and it said like, I've looked over your numbers and I can see that I can save you X amount of dollars, which is good if you already know this. But you can leave it open-ended like this. And you can just say, would you be open to having a quick call to talk about this a little bit more this week? You leave it open-ended. And if you want to just make it even a little bit more tighter, have a response keyword. So respond back, yes, respond back, why, and I'll call you. Or respond back, like give a little bit more direct. You'll see on the other email I show you, it's a little bit more direct. But this one right here is just to get them to respond yes, no, maybe so, but just to get things out of your head. Pretty simple, right? How many of you guys think this was a simple email that could work? Give me a thumbs up if you think it's simple and easy. All right, those of you that think it's not, where did I miss you? Where did I lose you? Okay, good, very good. Okay, cool, perfect. Rosie and Jomari are actually taking note of everyone that said they're going to send it, and everyone that did not say they were going to send it, they're taking note of that too. Just so you know. All right, perfect. Alma, I'm talking to you. I see you, girl. I know. Okay, so that right there, with that one email, he got 155 opens and 12 responses. I'm not sure which ones were positive or negative, but nonetheless, he got 12 responses, and that's the number you're targeting. So with this, what I see responses, Jose Almanza, to be leads. These are leads, but these are actually like warm leads. These are people that I want to talk to right now. These are the people I want to talk to when I'm done talking to these people. Does that make sense? Brian Charles, you with me? Your bookkeeping clients, by the way, that should be the email you send these people. I know you have bookkeeping clients. All right. So second email, I think it was like what, like 5 days apart, Steve? What was the different? Do you remember how far apart these two emails were? Like 3 to 5 days, nothing more than a week. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was,
It's like a couple days.
from Friday to Friday or something like that. So it might have been a week, but. You know.
Okay. So like a week out.
Yeah.
You guys can actually do it. Like if you wanted to, you can do it within 3 days. So I wouldn't wait more than 7 days. I could let it sit for like 3 days. Right? Just so everybody that could open the email does open the email. Right? Give it like 3 to 5 days. And then you send the same email. Look at this. Look at how funny this is. Just a different picture. Oh, it's not even a different picture. Literally the exact same email.
Yeah, it was exactly the same. The only thing that was different was the subject title of the email.
Right. So the service, this one was the subject title for email number 1, and this was the subject title for the email number 2. All right. Cool. Nice graphics.
You can thank my assistant.
Yep. Yeah. Tammy's like, I'm a closet marketer. That's great. What would be the heading for me? All right, cool. So these are the results from his, right? 20 leads, 12 appointments, because I asked how many appointments did you get from the Steve initially? 12 appointments, 8 showed up, 8 were qualified. This right here, guys, is very important. You track what I just tracked right here. 20 leads, which is 8 responses, and 12 responses. That's 20 responses. That means 20 leads. How many of those leads showed up to book an appointment with you? 12. How many of those showed up? Do you know the number here? It's about 80%, something like that. How many were qualified? 100%. That means you have a good list, right? Doesn't matter the numbers. Like it really doesn't matter for you guys. You guys are going to all have different numbers, and that's okay. From there, he closed 3 out of 8. Up till now, this has changed, right? I didn't know the other 4 came through over the weekend. I actually made this, I think Thursday. I made this Thursday, and you've closed what, 4 since?
Yeah, Thursday, I closed 3 of them.
Oh, there you go.
And then Friday morning, even before the conference call, I closed 1. And then in the afternoon, I closed another one.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, this was done before. And so I imagine some of these right here fell through on this. Like meaning they actually, after me and you talked and did this numbers, this right here probably went up to like the 5 here. Yeah. I'm not sure. We'll probably have to look back and I'll ask you for the details. But these are the numbers you guys want to track. Like what I'm tracking, just pay attention to what I track so you guys can see how to track. Okay. Then once he's done with that email, he sent it twice. He sent this email. This is the email I wrote for him. All right. I like the graphics, by the way. It does look really nice. Good questions. I love the questions. All right. The email said this: we're almost full. Why are we doing this? If anybody knows why, you can type in the chat. I want to know. Do you know why we're sending this email? We're almost full. Put in the chat. Not you, Tammy. I know you know. All right.
Good answers.
Good answers. That's right. That's exactly right. You know what the biggest powerful the most powerful marketing strategy in existence, scarcity and urgency. Those are the two most powerful drivers for growth, for movement in marketing. So if you don't use scarcity and urgency that you guys already, then this is ways to ethically engineer scarcity and urgency. Tax season in and of itself is a scarcity tactic, right? It has scarcity and urgency built into tax season. January, right? So the early season, it has its own scarcity and urgency drivers there. Late season, it has its own scarcity and urgency drivers. Why? Because the IRS can leave it open forever. You know it. They can do whatever they want, but they don't because they need people to take action. So why are you any different than them, right? Well, you're better than them for sure, for one. But for second, you need people to have scarcity and urgency. Urgency is a function of time. So time's running out. Scarcity is a function of quantity, right? I have limited supply, therefore it's scarce in resource. Urgency is like the time is going away. See the difference there? So with this right here, we're leveraging scarcity. There's a scarce resource being me, right? We recently offered an opportunity, right? It's been overwhelmingly positive. The reason why I say this, and I always say this, right? The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. It's social proof. And what social proof means for everybody here, it means someone else gave positive feedback, not just me. So I'm looking at it like, so everyone's at the store but me. I have a feeling of I fear missing out. I fear like I'm going to miss out on something. And that's another driver, right? If you guys all missed today, you would have missed today. So you're here, right? All right. Now, if I wanted to add some scarcity and urgency, I would tell you guys like, this is the one time if I wanted to, I could have done this. I could have told the team, I want all of our members to be here today. So guess what? We're not sending them recordings. Everybody would have showed up. I promise you that. See what I mean? See how you can get creative with these things when you get committed to it, right? And now I bet you Steve gets up with some creative ideas from like, oh shoot, now I have some freedom to kind of think freely now. Not so like right now, you guys are probably thinking just tactically, but once you get this like working, then you're going to start thinking freely and your natural marketing instincts will start to kick in. None of you guys think you're natural marketers, but until you start getting some flow, then you'll get creative. Okay. So because of that, I'm only taking 2 more clients, scarcity this month, urgency, right? And this, what I say by this month, it doesn't pigeonhole him. Because some of you might be thinking, well, if I only take 2 more clients, when does that 2 clients work? This month, which means next month I can open it again. See how that works? It opens the loop for next month. So I didn't pigeonhole myself into like, I'm only taking 2 more clients total ever. I put this month, right? You got to be a little like, kind of like water here. Don't put this week today, put like a little bit further out, like this year, this month, in the next 2 weeks, because of tax season, I can only handle 2 more people before I close off the cart because I need to start working on all my clients. Like those are natural things. And before, if you want in before I fill up, please respond back right away and we'll set up a call. That's where he got the majority of his people. The majority of those people came back on that. Total revenue, $18,000 cash collected, 7 clients. Time frame?
I'll say just real quickly on that is, Dan and I were on a call and he was just typing this out roughly. And I just copied it, put it on a Word doc down below, and I just sort of edited it to make it seem a little bit more like it was coming from me, right? Because these are my clients already. They already know what kind of to expect as far as language that would come from me. So, just take it, the message itself, don't get rid of the urgency and the scarcity. Just change a few words to make it sound like it's coming from you.